So, this is torque experienced by a current loop in a uniform magnetic field. So, we are going to have a current loop over here, and we are going to place this current loop in a uniform magnetic field, and we will see that a torque will be acting on it. Okay, this is same as the magnetic dipole, electric dipole, which we placed in a uniform electric field. When we place the electric dipole in a electric field, a uniform electric field, it experienced a torque and started rotating. Correct? No? The same way, when we put this current carrying loop, okay, now current carrying loop is nothing but a magnetic dipole. We have already discussed it. So current carrying loop, when we put it in a uniform magnetic field, this current carrying loop is going to experience a torque and it is going to rotate. So basically this concept is used in electric motor. Okay, you have a magnetic field generated, and then you have a coil over there, and a torque acts on that coil, and that coil starts rotating. That is how your shaft starts rotating. Okay, so basically your electric energy or magnetic energy is getting converted into electric energy, or basically mechanical energy. Okay, yeah, so let's proceed with this. So I have considered two magnetic poles over here. There is north pole and there is south pole. Okay, so now this coil is placed in between these two poles. So intention of putting these poles is nothing but you are going to get a magnetic field over here. Correct? No, a uniform magnetic field will be generated from north to south. Okay, so in this uniform magnetic field we have placed this current carrying coil. Coil is PQRS. So obviously there is some source over here which is generating the current. The current will be flowing like this. But to reduce the complications in the figure, that source is not shown over here. A simple coil is being shown. So the current is flowing from PQRS. Okay, so the current direction is something like this. So let's say current I is flowing. The current I is flowing through this loop. Let's say this red color line which you can see over here is the axis of the loop. This is the axis about which the loop is going to rotate after the application of the torque. Okay, let's say that the length and breadth, let's define the length and breadth of the loop. Let's say this side, it is PS, side PS over here. Okay, and this side over here. Okay, so let's say that PS and QR is equal to A. Okay, and QP and RS is equal to B. Okay, so I is the current flowing through the coil PQRS. A and B are the sides of the coil PQRS. What will be the area of the coil? We will use this later. Area of the coil will be, it's a rectangular coil, right? So area is going to be multiplication of the sides, that is A multiplied by B. And let us say that theta is the angle between the direction of magnetic field and the normal to the plane of the coil. So I'll try to draw it over here. I'll try the normal to the coil. I'll draw over here. Let's say the normal to the coil is here. That is, it makes an angle of 90 degrees. It has to make an angle of 90 degrees with the axis of the coil. Okay, and this normal to the coil makes an angle of theta, let's say, with the magnetic field. So magnetic field is going like this. So angle between the normal of the coil and the magnetic field which is applied there is theta. Okay, so if we individually consider these sides as the conductor placed in a magnetic field, like for example PQ is one conductor, QR is another conductor, RS is another conductor, and SP is another conductor. So if we consider each of the side of this coil as a particular conductor, as an individual conductor, and if we apply the Fleming's left hand rule over here and find out the force acting on the conductor. Okay, obviously this, if we consider them as an individual conductor, these individual conductors are placed in a uniform magnetic field. So ILB will be the force acting on them. So if we consider them as an individual conductor placed in a uniform magnetic field, there will be a magnetic force acting on them. So if you apply your Fleming's left hand rule, you will notice that the forces acting on the sides PS and QR will be something like this. They will be along the axis of the loop. If you apply the Fleming's left hand rule, you can take your left hand rule, Fleming's left hand rule, and apply over here. Take the direction of the current as the direction of your middle finger. Just outstretch your forefinger in the direction of magnetic field, and you will notice that the thumb is going to point in the direction of your axis, okay, towards each other. So applying the Fleming's left hand rule over here, the magnetic forces on side PS and QR are going to be equal and opposite, okay, and they are going to be collinear forces. They are going to be equal, opposite and collinear forces, and hence the resultant of these two forces is going to be 0. That means it is as good as no force is going to act on these two sides, that is QR and PS. Okay. Now the side PQ, okay, these two sides are done. The forces acting on them are going to be equal and opposite and collinear, and hence the resultant force is going to be equal to 0. Now as far as side PQ is concerned, so this side PQ is going to experience a force, okay, it is going to experience a force ILB. So again, if you apply your Fleming's left hand rule, this force ILB is going to be applied downwards, okay, or let's say inwards. If you are imagining it parallel to your screen, okay, the force is going to act inwards, okay. So let's draw this force. So this force is going to act something like this, that is inwards, okay, parallel to the or perpendicular to the plane containing these two vectors. That means perpendicular to the plane of the coil, okay. So it's going to be something like this. Let's say this is F, okay, and the magnetic field is over here like this. Magnetic field is over here, okay. So now how much is going to be this force, okay. So this force is going to be F is equal to ILB sin theta, okay. So obviously the theta in this case is going to be 90 degrees, because theta is the angle between the length vector, the current element vector, and the magnetic field vector. So you will see that the theta in this case is 90 degrees, so sin theta will go to 1, okay. So force is going to be ILB, okay. But what is the length of the conductor over here? The length of the conductor, you must have seen over here, is nothing but B. The length of the conductor PQ is B. So let's put it over here. So length becomes B. So the force acting on the conductor PQ is going to be I into B, where B is the length of the conductor, into the magnetic field B, okay. So my intention is to find out the torque experienced by this coil. So torque will be given by force into displacement, correct, no? But torque acts, when the torque acts on a coil, the coil starts rotating, correct, no? So for rotation, obviously we require a force on the other side also. So we'll first find out the force on the remaining side, that is RS, okay. We saw that the force acting on QR and PS are collinear forces. They are acting along the axis and they are equal and opposite, hence they were cancelling out. The force acting on the side PQ is downwards. So let us find out the force acting on side RS. So again, apply your left hand rule, Fleming's left hand rule. Point your forefinger in the direction of magnetic field, your middle finger in the direction of current, and the thumb is going to give you the direction of the force, and you will notice that the force over here is going to act outwards, okay. So it is going to come towards you. So if this force was going inwards on conductor PQ, the force on RS is going to come outwards, okay. So I will recommend you please try this Fleming's left hand rule, okay. So it is going to come something like this. It is going to come outwards. So if you see, we are forming a couple over here. There are two equal and opposite forces acting, okay. This force is also going to be IBB, because the length of the conductor is B, magnetic field is capital B, and current is I. So this force, the two forces are equal and they are opposite in direction, and they are not collinear forces. They are not collinear, and hence what is going to happen is a couple will be generated over here, correct. So it is going to be something like this, okay. So if you see it from the front, okay, if you see it from the front, one force is going to be applied like this upwards, and one force is going to be applied over here downwards. Okay, so this is one force F, this is another force over here F, this is the center, and this length from here to here is how much? This is A, correct? See, one force is acting on this point, one force is acting on this point, and what is the distance between them? Distance between them is nothing but A. So this becomes A over here. Okay, this becomes A over here. Okay, magnetic field is how? Magnetic field is going like this. This is the magnetic field. Okay, so now if I want to find out the torque, okay, if I want to find out the torque, what is the expression for torque? Torque is given by force multiplied by perpendicular distance between the forces. So now force I have already found out. What is going to be the perpendicular distance? What is going to be the perpendicular distance over here? The perpendicular distance over here is going to be the distance between the two forces. That is going to be this distance. I will mark it in red. This is going to be the perpendicular distance between the two forces. Okay, so now since this angle is theta, that means supposing this becomes the normal over here, okay, this becomes the normal, this angle is theta, by geometry this angle over here will become theta. Alright, by geometry, just join this over here, just draw this over here, this is normal, this is B, okay, and this is theta. Okay, so automatically this will become theta by geometry. Correct? So if I want to find out this side, the red side over here, okay, what is this going to be? If I apply sine of theta, sine of theta is opposite side, the side which I want, okay, upon the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is A. So the side which I want is going to be what? A sine of theta. That means this will become A sine of theta, which is the perpendicular side. Okay, so now the force which I have taken over here is IBB into the perpendicular distance between them is going to be A sine of theta over here. Correct? This perpendicular distance is going to be A sine of theta. Okay, so what is going to be the total torque acting? The total torque acting is going to be IBB into A into sine of theta. So now what is going to be this B into B? As I told you, I am going to use this later. B into B into A is going to be nothing but the area of the coil. So let's replace it over here. So this is going to come as I, A into B, let us put as area, into the magnetic field into sine of theta. So this is going to be the expression for the torque. So this is going to be the expression for the torque. Now supposing the coil has n number of turns. This particular coil has n number of turns. Okay. Then how will this expression change? The expression will become tau is equal to n times. Okay. I A B sine of theta, where n is the number of turns. Okay. For the rectangular loop. Okay. If n is the total number of turns of rectangular, this is going to be the case. Okay, so now what is NIAB? We have already discussed this. What is NIAB if you remember, or NIA? So N into I into A is nothing but the magnetic dipole moment. Correct? If you remember, we have discussed this already. I into A is nothing but the magnetic dipole moment. Correct? If supposing n number of turns are there, then n into I into A becomes the magnetic moment. So I can replace this n into I into A as the magnetic moment over here. What do I get? It is going to be magnetic moment into B into sine of theta. Okay? So magnetic moment is a vector quantity. Magnetic field is a vector quantity. Okay? And theta is nothing but the angle between the normal to the vector. Normal to the vector is same as the area vector, and area vector is same as the magnetic moment, dipole moment. Correct? No? See, look at this. We have already discussed this. I into A is equal to M. That is the magnetic dipole moment. That means magnetic dipole moment and area vector has the same direction. And area vector is taken how? Area vector is taken along the normal to the plane. So normal is nothing but the area vector, and area vector is nothing but the magnetic moment, magnetic dipole moment. And we know that theta is the angle between magnetic dipole moment and the magnetic field. Okay, so what I can say over here, MB sine of theta can be very well written as torque is equal to M cross B. So this becomes the vector form of the torque acting on a current carrying loop placed in a uniform magnetic field.